Good evening, everyone. And thank you all for being with us this evening. I, of course, want to welcome Secretary Baker. I'm going to get a chance to go down to Rice University to be with you just in a few days. I'm looking forward to that. He's been very generous to me with his time. I met him once in Houston, and I was about to give him the laundry list of all my travails, and he said, "Young man, it was worse for me." Remains to be seen, Secretary Baker. You worked so diligently to execute President Reagan's mission to bring down the Iron Curtain and help make this evening possible. I know you'll have some thought-provoking things to say in your conversation with Mr. Rubens. I'm glad you're taking his questions tonight, not me. I think that's a good thing, too. Ambassador Haber, it's great to have you with us. And I want to thank many of you who've been so generous to this institution with your time and your love, and to this facility with your generous contributions as well to help tell this amazing story of American diplomats. It'll be a powerful place for the world to come see the excellence of American diplomats. Early tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get on a plane. I'm going to fly to Grafenwehr, Germany, and then to Wielseck, and then to a little town called Molderoit, none of you have heard of, then to Leipzig and Berlin. Molderoit was a town that also had a wall that went through it. And when I was much younger and just a little bit thinner, I patrolled that East German border from 1986 until October of 1989. Just before Secretary Baker and his team, I made sure that no soldier that I worked with would have to ever come into harm's way from the threat from communism that came from the East. It's a remarkable story, one that affected my life in ways that we all can see so clearly. My mission every day is to try and tell the world what we have to do to protect freedom. It bonds us with our old friends, Germany. Our solidarity with the German people began in the earliest days of the Cold War. It endured the Berlin airlift. President Reagan's call for Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down the wall, a piece of which we have right with us here at the State Department. On November 9th, 1989, a spokesman for the government of East Germany announced that its citizens would be able to travel freely through the east-west border checkpoints. Journalists pressed them on when the new law would take effect, and without guidance, the spokesperson said immediately. Sounds kind of like the spokespeople here some days. But it was amazing. It was near midnight. The governing mayor of West Berlin called U.S. Minister of Berlin, Harry Gilmore, and he said, "Harry, we have a problem." Thousands of Easterners were surging at the Berlin checkpoint, demanding entry into West Berlin. Because the entire wall was in East Berlin physically, and because of certain diplomatic arrangements, West Berlin needed police authorization from the U.S. and others to approach the wall. But as history will reflect, the shoot-on-sight order for the East Berlin border guards, while remaining in force, was ignored. Without consulting higher U.S. officials, Gilmore authorized the West German police to enter the border area to ensure the safety of those crossing to West Berlin. No one was seriously injured that evening, and thanks to Gilmore's leadership, East Germans took their first steps towards freedom. You will see in this center there are countless more stories of American diplomatic heroism just like that one, and I'm proud that the U.S. Diplomacy Center is devoted to telling them. In recognition of the center's important work, I'm pleased to announce that tonight we have, with the concurrence of the United States Congress, renamed the U.S. Diplomacy Center to the National Museum of American Diplomacy. I think this is completely fitting as we're making a statement. This is the nation's first and foremost museum dedicated to telling the story of these great people, of these great American diplomats. And while we are still just a bit off till 2022 before it is fully open, we have partnered with the Smithsonian Institution to create its first exhibit, one that we all had a chance to see a bit tonight, called Diplomacy is Our Mission. It opened today. It tells the stories about real U.S. diplomats, how the United States diplomats helped open Japan to the world, how we negotiated an international treaty that led to the freeing of slaves of the notorious ship Amistad, and how we implemented the Marshall Plan to rescue Europe from economic collapse. These are remarkable stories, and they're just the beginning of what we'll do here. I'm proud to lead the team of the fine patriots that will create that next set of great diplomatic stories. I'm also excited that thanks to your support, Americans will know the good work we've done in this generation and many more to come. I hope you all enjoy your evening, and thank you so much for being here.